Everyone, today we are going to study humerus of the ox. This is a long bone with a medullary cavity. It has a shaft and two extremities. It is located backwards and downwards. So talking about the shaft, it has four surfaces. So where do you see this fossa? Like this deep fossa. This is the posterior surface, and opposite to it is here this somewhat deep fossa. This is your anterior surface. On the side where the tuberosity is deltoideus tuberosity is present, this is your lateral surface, and this will be your medial surface towards this medial epicondyle. This is the medial surface. Talking about the lateral surface is smooth and somewhat curved. Okay, this forms this a groove. This is a musculospiral groove. This is a musculospiral groove because this is spirally located and muscles will be attaching here. It contains brachialis muscle and radial nerve. Okay, and on the medial surface, this is the medial surface. You can see this medial epicondyle, medial condyles and epicondyles. So here a rough surface is present. You can see here the rough surface is present. This is known as teres tubercle, which is for the insertion of tendon of latissimus dorsi and teres major muscle. Latissimus dorsi and teres major muscle. And on the groove, which muscle was present? Brachialis muscle. Okay, and this tuberosity is known as deltoideus tuberosity, and here muscle will be deltoideus. Okay, on the now talking about the anterior surface. This anterior surface is here. On anterior surface, you can see somewhat triangle is forming like this, this and this. Triangle is forming, so it is triangular in shape, wider from above and narrower coming downwards. है ना? So this is the crest of humerus if we say, and it has a tuberosity, deltoideus tuberosity, which contains, which is for the insertion of deltoideus muscle, brachiocephalicus muscle and teres major muscle. Brachiocephalicus, deltoideus and teres major muscle. So on the posterior surface, this posterior surface is quite smooth and round, and here the nutrient foramens are present. You can see this is the foramen like this in the distal part of distal मतलब नीचे आते हुए वाले part of the surface पे. Hope it is clear. Now talking about the extremities, come to proximal extremity. So on the proximal extremity, so this quite big structure is your head, and it below this is a neck. You can see like this neck. This is head and this is neck. Head is circular and like convex. You can see convexity is there, and it is on which surface? This was medial, है ना? This was posterior. So this is on the posterior medial surface. This is articulating with glenoid cavity here of the shoulder joint. So here which joint will be forming? Ball and socket joint will be forming. So the neck, it is a part which connect head with this shaft. Clear? Talking about these tuberosities now. This further first one, it is on which surface it is present? Medial. So this is a medial tuberosity. Medial surface, medial tuberosity. Lateral surface, this complete one is a lateral tuberosity. This structure complete is lateral tuberosity, and this one is the medial tuberosity. So both medial and lateral tuberosities are separated by this groove. You can see my finger inserting here. This is the bicipital or intertubercular or intertuberal groove. Bicipital, intertuberal or intertubercle groove for the passage of biceps tendons of the biceps brachialis. For the tendons of the biceps brachialis muscle. So this lateral tuberosity is larger, right? You can see because it has two parts. So first part, this is known as this one. You can see from here it is very much clear. This is known as summit, and this back one is known as convexity. This summit is hanging over the bicipital groove, right? Like ऐसे. So it is hanging over the overhanging the bicipital groove, and here this gives the attachment. This gives the attachment to the infraspinatus muscles. Basically, if we talk particularly, then the lateral tendon of infraspinatus muscle will be attaching here on the summit, and on the convexity here yes, medial tendon of infraspinatus muscle will be attaching. So here lateral tendon of infraspinatus muscle, here medial tendon of infraspinatus muscle. This is summit and this is convexity. So hope you can remember. Now talking about the medial tuberosity, this is all smaller basically, and it consists of two parts, anterior one and posterior one. You can see anterior and posterior part. Oh, sorry. So the anterior part gave the attachment to supraspinatus muscle and deep pectoral muscle, whereas the posterior part, because here glenoid cavity is coming and the medial surface of the scapula will attach. So on the medial surface of scapular muscle is subscapularis. So here subscapularis muscle will be attaching. Okay. On the lateral side, we have two muscles, infraspinatus and supraspinatus. So supra attaches this side, outer side, and infraspinatus on the lateral tuberosities. Here infras, here supraspinatus, and here subscapularis. So three of the muscles of the scapula are revised here. Now, so this was all about your proximal extremity. Okay, now coming to distal extremity, we have, this is the lateral surface, right? So this is the lateral condyle, this is the medial surface, and this is the medial condyle. Medial condyle is also known as trochlea, and lateral condyle is also known as capitulum. So the condyles are of unequal size. You can see this is a quite bigger one, and this is smaller one, and both are separated by a ridge. You can see this projection. This is a ridge. So these condyles will attach with the radius and ulna. Okay, at the end I will show the attachment also. So behind these condyles, there are epicondyles present. So the medial condyle is quite large. You can see medial condyle is large, right? And it is crossed by a groove. Here, this is a ridge over here, na? But this groove is here on the medial condyle. So medial condyle is large and crossed by a groove cranially to this. This is the coronoid or the radial fossa. Coronoid or radial fossa, and caudally to this olecranon fossa. We can not feel this attachment, but it is here. Coronoid fossa of process of the radius. Coronoid fossa कहते हैं, इसलिए इसको olecranon fossa बोलते हैं. अब कॉर्नोइड फोसा में कौन सी मसल आएगी? रेडियस का कोरोनॉइड प्रोसेस. रेडियस का कोरोनॉइड प्रोसेस होता है रेडियस मसल की, रेडियस बोन के ऊपर, और अल्ना का एनकोनियस प्रोसेस यहाँ आएगा. लेट मी शो यू जस्ट अ सेकेंड. दिस इज अ रेडियस अल्ना. हियर दे विल अटैच. सो दिस इज द एनकोनियस प्रोसेस ऑफ द अल्ना. इट इज, देखो, it is going attached. So enconius muscle will be attaching of the ulna for the extension. Clear? And if we see about for the radius, this is the coronoid process of radius. This, so this is attaching here. Okay? And from this coronoid fossa, the extensor carpi radialis muscle will be arising, and common digital extensor will be there. So this is the lateral epicondyle. So here the crest. So you can say that extensor carpi radialis, common digital extensor, and medial digital extensors arise from the supracondyloid crest. Now the lateral condyle, which is known as capitulum. Here the epicondyle is lateral epicondyle. You can see lateral epicondyle is bigger, right? And then our medial epicondyle, है ना? Medial जो condyles होंगे, whatever medial condyles, epicondyles are there, they will give origin to flexor muscles of carpals and digits. For example, flexor muscle carpi radialis. For example, flexor carpi ulnaris, pronator teres, superficial digital flexor, humeral head of deep digital flexor. Clear? And on this lateral epicondyle, we have ulnaris lateralis muscle, which is a flexor, but behave as an extensor. ठीक है, it is a flexor but behave as a extensor. It is important. So this epicondyloid crest, है ना, this is a groove. So this crest is known as epicondyloid crest. You can see epicondyloid crest is present. Clear? So this was all about humerus.